Now Lenovo's back at it again with the Legion Phone Duel 2. Phone can be charged really fast. How fast? We get 2 on each shoulder, different positions, which makes it a little better than Asus is offering in my humble opinion. Now, would I recommend it over the ROG Phone 5? Now, one thing I don't like about this phone is one of the more interesting gaming phones of recent times was the Lenovo Legion Duel. It flew under most people's radar, but it was quite the solid offering from Lenovo. It was right up there with the ROGs. Now Lenovo's back at it again with the Legion Phone Duel 2. So how's the sequel? Now, I have been using it as my primary for a little over a week. So how's it held up? Is it at the same level as the current ROG, the ROG 5 series? The pros, the cons, and everything in between is what we're going to be looking at in today's video. Hey guys, Ash here, you're watching C4eTech and welcome to my full review of the Lenovo Legion Phone Duel 2. Before we get started with the review, I want to show you the box contents. Well, I'm not doing a dedicated unboxing for this one. I actually like the unboxing experience, so I want to share it with you. So, this is the box. We have the Legion logo up top. It's an understated black finish. I like the branding. I think they've done well. Let's open up the box and hey, this pops up. Let's do it again. Another angle to show you how cool this is. See how the phone kind of gets presented to you as you open the box? Nice, right? Something different. So here's the Legion Phone Duel 2, removing the plastic. Next up, there's this black insert that contains the quick start guide, a USB Type-C to 3.5mm converter, since there is no headphone jack. In this case, it's hard plastic and it seems to fit well. The other box here contains a 90-watt power brick and 2 USB Type-C cables. Why 2 cables? We'll get to that. So that's pretty much it for the unboxing. Let's now get to the review part of this video. Here we have this Legion LED and also a tiny little fan to help make for active cooling. The fan remains quite silent at most times. There are 2 speed options and even when you run the fan at its fastest, it's still barely audible. And that is in a silent room. 27 decibels from a 30 centimeter distance is what the official claim is. Now, calling it a fan is not technically right because there are fans. You can only see one, but there are actually 2. The one that you're seeing is the output fan. There's also an intake fan. Both of them have 29 blades. The intake does 12,500 RPM, while the output can do 15,000. The actual CFM hasn't been mentioned though, but for what it's worth, it helps keep the phone cool. And it is pretty silent, even in a silent room. So when you're going to be playing games or something with the audio on, you're definitely not going to hear anything. This is something unique, and it's not just from a performance perspective, but even from a looks perspective, it helps the Legion Duel 2 stand out. Next, let's talk about something else that's right next to the fan. The cameras. Now, they aren't mind-blowing or anything, but both the primary and secondary, they perform well. The primary, it's OmniVision's 64 megapixel sensor. The OV64A, it is supposed to be OmniVision's flagship sensor. It's paired with a f1.9 lens, no stabilization. The images though turned out pretty nice with ample detail, good dynamic range and low noise levels. Talking about noise, there is a dedicated night mode and the performance under low light was also satisfactory. The images ended up being quite usable. They weren't very noisy or anything. Now, I'm not going to call it the best performer with regards to optics because it's not. But for a gaming phone, one that's not focused on cameras, it does quite well. It can also shoot HDR10 plus video as well as 8K at 24 FPS. The rolling shutter effect is pretty prominent here, but detail levels are good. Not much to complain about. Well, the rear cameras are not priority. Lenovo seems to have prioritized the selfie camera and it is actually in a pop-up. We haven't seen this mechanism in a while. It's at the center, so it's aimed more towards streaming than actual selfie shooting. Because this is a pretty awkward placement for regular portrait selfies, right? The selfie shooter itself does very well. This is Samsung's 44 megapixel GH1 sensor paired with the f2 lens. The skin tones, the detail levels, they're all reproduced beautifully. There's electronic stabilization too and 4 microphones for better audio pickup. So all this is aimed squarely at streamers. Now, talking about streaming and gameplay, let's take a look at things that make up this experience. The chip inside, the display. Now, the chip, as you'd expect from any self-respecting flagship gaming phone, It's the Snapdragon 888. What else could they go with, right? We've got up to 18 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM combined with 256 or 512 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. So it's pretty much top of the line. The benchmark numbers, they are as high as you'd expect them to be. And gaming on this one is a pleasure. Lenovo has upped the ante with a few certain extras. For starters, Lenovo's version of air triggers that they call Y triggers, we get 2 on each shoulder, different positions, which makes it a little better than Asus is offering in my humble opinion. To the back, we have 2 capacitive keys here too. On top of that, the screen is pressure sensitive, so you get 1 on each side to trigger button presses. So 8 button options, which is just awesome, right? What might not be quite so awesome is the software. The Legion Duel 2 runs on Android 11. For the most part, it's smooth sailing, don't get me wrong. But CUI, it could use some work. It feels a little rough around the edges. Now, I had a couple of force closes in my 10ish days. It wasn't bad enough to be a deal breaker because 2 to 3 times over a period of 10 days, it definitely isn't bad enough, but a little more polish wouldn't hurt, right? Now, this is Legion Realm, Lenovo's version of Armory Crate, and they seem to have matched Asus feature for feature. Almost. Now, the display is 6.92 inches, Full HD Plus AMOLED, so it's a little larger. It refreshes at up to 144 Hz, so rapid fast. The touch response is 720 Hz, nuts. Peak brightness 800 nits for outdoor use, 1300 for HDR, so it's plenty bright. You could game outdoors if you wanted to and wouldn't face any issues with visibility. There's Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 for protection. We get stereo speakers to the top and bottom, and these are some of the best speakers I've come across on a smartphone. Not only are they loud, but they're also very full with decent channel separation. No headphone jack though. As far as battery goes, we have a split battery similar to what we've seen with the ROG Phone 5. Now that leaves me a little wary on if Zach's gonna split this one too. Remains to be seen. Now the two 2750 mAh batteries ensure this phone can be charged really fast. How fast? At up to 90 watts. Now at up to 90 watts, you can charge it from 0 to 100 in less than 30 minutes, and the battery life itself is pretty stellar. I could easily get over a day's use with this battery, and given how fast it charges, I rarely thought about charging it. I wouldn't even charge it overnight. Sometime during day 2, I'd see the battery hit, the lower 20s, and I would just plug it in, and it'll be back up to full charge in about 20-ish minutes. By the way, do note that if you don't want to plug in both cables, say you're gaming or something, you can still continue to charge it via a single cable and it will continue to charge fast. Now, one thing I don't like about this phone is how heavy it is. At almost 260 grams, it feels like we are approaching the 300 gram mark. Yes, I get it's a gaming phone. Yes, I get they've split the battery and put the camera array at the center, meaning the weight is pretty evenly spread. I get all that, but it is still 20 grams heavier than the ROG Phone 5 with 1 fewer camera sensor, 500 mAh, lower capacity battery, and no headphone jack. Now think about this for a minute. This tablet from 2014, it weighs just 10 grams more than the Duel 2. Phones are getting heavier by the day, and I get that there is so much technology stuffed into it, but at 260 grams, the Legion Duel 2, it isn't something non-gamers would probably consider. This acts as a gateway to keep it strictly niche, just for gamers, and it's kind of too heavy for the mainstream. But if you are into mobile gaming and maybe even streaming, I feel this is one of the best options out there. Now, would I recommend it over the ROG Phone 5? I don't know. Honestly, it's all gonna depend on the pricing. If you can find the phone cheaper in your market than the ROG Phone 5, I'd say choose it. If you find the ROG cheaper, go with it, because at the end of the day, both of them have a lot of similarities and you should be happy with either one, whichever is available and whichever brand is giving you the better value for money, the better deal. So that's the Legion Duel 2, one of the best gaming phones available at the moment. What do you guys think about it? Do you feel Lenovo's done well? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this review. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech. And I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.